Anne was born on February 6, 1665, at St James's Palace in London, England. She was the second daughter of James, Duke of York, and his first wife, Anne Hyde. Her father would later become King James II, and her mother was the daughter of Edward Hyde, who served as Lord Chancellor under Charles II. Anne had a difficult childhood marked by the upheavals of the Glorious Revolution and her father's deposition in 1688. She and her sister Mary were raised as devout Anglicans, but their father's Catholicism and his attempts to promote religious tolerance in England led to his unpopularity and eventual overthrow. Anne was shy, conscientious, stout, gouty, short-sighted and very small. Anne married Prince George of Denmark in 1683, and they had many children, but only one survived past infancy. She had 17 pregnancies in total. Their son, Prince William, Duke of Gloucester, died in 1700, aged 11 of smallpox or hydrocephalus, which contributed to the instability of the succession during Anne's reign. Her marriage was not a happy one. Her husband Prince George of Denmark was said to be a drunk and a bore. Anne's sister, Mary, and Mary's husband, William of Orange, ascended to the throne in 1688 as joint monarchs, in what is known as the Glorious Revolution. Anne became heir presumptive to the throne after the deaths of her brother and sister, and she succeeded to the throne in 1702, following the death of William III. Anne's coronation was on St. George's Day, the 23rd of April 1702 in Westminster Abbey. She was affected by gout at the time and was carried into Westminster Abbey on a sedan chair. She was 37 at the time she succeeded to the throne. Anne's reign was marked by the War of the Spanish Succession, 1701 to 1714, a conflict between European powers over the succession to the Spanish throne. The war was fought mainly in Europe, but it also had implications for Britain's colonial ambitions in North America. Anne supported the Grand Alliance against France in the war and helped to secure the succession of the House of Hanover to the British throne. The Hanoverians were distant relatives of the Stuarts and were seen as a Protestant alternative to the Catholic claimants to the throne. During Anne's reign, the Acts of Union were passed, which joined England and Scotland into a single political entity, known as Great Britain. This was a significant development in British history, as it laid the foundations for the modern United Kingdom. Anne was a staunch Anglican and supported the Church of England, which led to tensions with nonconformists and dissenters. She was also a strong advocate for the Act of Settlement, which barred Catholics from the British throne. Anne suffered from poor health throughout her life, including bouts of gout and other ailments. She was often unable to attend to her duties as queen, which led to the rise of powerful ministers and advisors who wielded significant influence over her government. Anne was known for her close relationships with her female friends and advisors, including Sarah Churchill, Duchess of Marlborough, and Abigail Masham. These relationships were the subject of much speculation and gossip about lesbianism during Anne's reign, and they were also the source of political intrigue and controversy. Anne's relationship with Sarah Churchill deteriorated over time, leading to a bitter falling out between the two women. Sarah was one of Anne's closest confidants and advisors, but their friendship was strained by political differences and personal grievances. She was a patron of literature and drama, and her reign saw the emergence of major literary figures like Jonathan Swift, Alexander Pope, and Daniel Defoe. The political parties of Anne's reign were characterized by bitter rivalries and conflicts, which often spilled over into personal animosity and even violence. The most famous example of this was the bitter feud between Anne's friend and advisor, Sarah Churchill, and the Whig politician, Robert Harley. The Tories were the party that generally supported the monarchy, the Church of England, and a strong national defence. They were also opposed to the growing power of the merchant and commercial classes in Britain, which they saw as a threat to traditional values and social order. The Whigs, on the other hand, were the party that generally supported the interests of the commercial and merchant classes, as well as religious tolerance and constitutional reform. They were also more open to the idea of limited government and greater political participation by the middle classes. Anne's government was also marked by corruption and patronage, with powerful ministers and advisors using their positions to enrich themselves and their allies. This led to widespread public disaffection and contributed to the growth of anti-government sentiment in Britain. Despite these challenges, Anne's reign saw significant advances in the areas of trade and commerce, with Britain emerging as a major player in the global economy. The growth of trade and industry also led to the rise of the middle classes, who became an increasingly important political force in Britain. Anne's reign also saw significant developments in the field of science, with the emergence of major figures like Isaac Newton, Robert Boyle, and Edmund Halley of Halley's Comet fame. These scientists made groundbreaking discoveries in the areas of physics, chemistry, and astronomy, laying the foundations for modern science and technology. Anne's reign came to an end in 1714, with her death on August 1 of that year. She suffered a stroke earlier in July and was unable to walk or speak. She was 49 and the last of the Stuarts to reign. She was succeeded by her distant cousin, George I of Hanover, who became the first Hanoverian monarch of Britain. Anne's legacy as queen is a complex and contested one, marked by both achievements and failures, and her reign continues to be the subject of scholarly debate and popular interest. Her reign saw the creation of Great Britain. Britain became a major military power and she laid the foundations for the 18th century's Golden Age.